Ready to go.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're working on this little Echo 210. This is like the superhero weed eaters for the commercial guys. It's just about bulletproof. Now this one, it's had a little bit of a rough life, but I think we can bring her back and get her running nice. So let's get started. Now, if you get your hands on a 210 in good shape, it will outlive you if you take care of it. These things are just about the sturdiest little beast you've ever seen. Every time I get one of these, I've got 3 people in line waiting for me to finish it. So, the first thing we're going to do, as almost always, is we're going to pop the carb off, and we're going to make a determination on how we feel about it. Interesting enough, the carb is actually aftermarket. So, now we'll get the throttle cable off. Just that easy peasy. You can see we just flip this forward and it unclips. And now the only thing we've got left are the fuel lines. And the fuel lines are obviously shot on this one. And you can see it needs a new primer bulb also. And I get a lot of these where people say it needs a new primer bulb. And if the primer bulb's shot, I promise it always needs more than a primer bulb. So let's get our vent out of the way. And let's cut the fuel lines. We know we're not going to use them, so there's no reason to save them. And they're really super hard too. They always come out pretty easy. They usually don't go in very easy. Okay, now we've got her cleaned up a little bit. So let's get the old fuel lines off of her. And we'll go ahead and break her down and run her through the ultrasonic. And I keep little echo kits for the diaphragms and gaskets and whatnot. So first we'll pull the metering diaphragm. And remember, if you clean the outside of the carb, you can't say you clean the carb. And note that here, it's gasket and then diaphragm in that order. So the gasket goes closer to the motor. And you got a little offset here, which lines up with this, which also lines up with the little pin on this, which looks real good inside. So I think this carburetor is pretty savable. So let's go ahead and pull the barrel out. I'll show you what I mean by the barrel in just a second here. We're going to put our parts that we're not keeping over there. So we want to keep track of our screws. There we go. Now, it does matter where these screws go going back in. Some of them are slightly different than others. So if you don't do this a lot, keep track of them. Oh, one more screw. There we go. Now she'll come off. And there you go. That's your actual throttle mechanism. It's rotating this inside the carburetor. Now let's pull the fuel gasket out. You got to be careful on this one. There's a hidden screw underneath here. Right there. Looks kind of rough inside. It looks worse inside than it does outside now. And this is the only screw in the carburetor that'll fit in that particular little hole. There you go. Now your fuel diaphragm sits, you'll notice that the actual diaphragm part lays against the carburetor like this. And the gasket lays against the plastic backing. So I'm going to run this through the ultrasonic and we'll be back shortly. Okay, now that everybody's back from the ultrasonic, we can put her back together. So we'll start off with our little plate here. And our plate goes metering diaphragm. Up. There you go. Metering diaphragm. Then gasket. And it goes on the carb like so. So we'll hold her. Or holding the gaskets to make sure they stay pretty much in place. You're going to look through the holes and make sure the holes stayed lined up. Oh, we slipped a little. There we go. And we'll get the one screw in. And we'll just start her a touch. You see she went in nice and smooth. And I'll put the next screw in. Come on, buddy. Snug it up. Snug it up. And that takes care of the metering diaphragm. Okay, before we put it together, we're going to check these and make sure that every single hole lines up. And you see these has got bulges in it. That's because this little fuel gasket's just flat worn out. So here, where's it at? We're going to put this like this. And now you go felt gasket, cardboard gasket, whatever you want to call it. And it's hard to get this one backwards. You see, if you put her backwards, it won't line up correctly. So we'll go gasket, gasket, get it on the little holes. And we'll do the same thing. There are holes here. You can see they got a little bit of an offset. So it's hard to get it upside down unless you try to force it. And like everything in life, if you're forcing it, you're doing it wrong. Okay, now we're going to hold this carefully and line up those two little notches, because that's just going to sit loose. But I got one more screw to put in, the long skinny screw. Put the long skinny screw in to hold that down. And don't put a whole lot of force on the long skinny screw. You want it snug, but just snug, period. Now we'll get our screws started. And these are what hold the gaskets actually in place. There we go. Let's ease those in. Whoops. Nice and carefully. Nice and gently. And notice I back off when they get towards the bottom. There you go. Now we're snug. 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 A little more snug on that one. There you go. Snug. And snug. And you've got a carburetor pretty much ready to go. The only thing we have left is the body. So we're going to take this. Going to get it in place. Now put these screws in nice and loose. If you get this thing wonky and off center, then it's going to tie up when you hit the gas. So notice we're not going all the way tight quite yet. And before we do tighten it, we're going to make sure everything operates nice and smoothly. And then after we're done, we're going to do the same thing. And last but not least, a little hidden screw. Okay, so now let's check it, make sure it runs smoothly. See, it's hanging up just a little bit. It's just touching the top of this screw, so that's okay. Go ahead and tighten that one down. And she feels pretty good now. Tighten the rest of them down. And if you over torque any of them, this thing's going to hang up all over the place and it's going to stick like that. Okay, let's get her back together. So now the clear goes on the outside on this one. You see the one with the fuel line has a little extra barb on it, which makes it easy to identify. And as we said earlier, the incoming fuel is on this line. Now, this is a pre-made fuel line kit, so as long as you don't pull any out, it should fit just about right and look right. If it doesn't, it's pretty easy to just pull them in with pliers on the inside. Okay, so now we've got that. Where's our air box at? There it is. Let's get our air box back on. Notice we're skipping the accelerator cable till last, because on this particular one, it's super easy to get to. And this really does go back together just that easy. You might fiddle with this throttle cable a little bit, but that's about it. Let me get that a little snug. Get that a little snug. Get this a little snug. Give them an extra turn for good luck. Make sure they're super snug. Let's put the throttle back on and we're good to go. The cable goes in, you'll pull this over and try to get this to line up. This can be a little fiddly. Comes off a lot easier than it goes on. There we go. Now you see it's in place, so we'll pull the trigger and let it go. There we go, and we're done. Let's put a new air filter on it and test it. Okay, before I brought her out, I went ahead and flipped the cover over because I realized that upside down, even though it doesn't matter, was going to drive me crazy. So let's choke it, make sure she's turned on. We've already got her all primed up, but she should be good to go. So it might be this one's first run in a little while. Let's find out. That sounds good. So you see, it's not what I would call simple to rebuild a carb. On a 1 to 10, it's probably a 6. If you've got yours and you don't know if you want to go through all those steps, you can buy an aftermarket carb, and as long as you drain the fuel at the end of each season, it'll work for a long time. So, all you new people out there, if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. It's free, and that's what we work for. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.